is the moment we waited for. Everything you want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot on my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down.
Hey, what's up, peeps? Welcome to today's episode of Grind Hard, Hustle Smart with me, Charles Johnson. So before I get started, let me just say to all of you all that I thank you. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Yes, I'm looking a little rough. I know I haven't had a haircut in a while. There's a reason behind it. I'll get into that at a later episode. As you can see, I'm not in my regular studio at home. But I felt like I needed to share this aspect of what I've learned from some of the things that I've been throughout this week. And so just to, kind of pull the Band-Aid off the wound, I made some idiotic decisions of my own accord that could have potentially ruined my family for generations. Yes, we are all susceptible to mistakes. Especially us men, we tend to be very impulsive and egotistical and prideful. But that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is this, or the point of this episode is this, that throughout all of this, I recognize my own humanity. And I didn't give enough time to my own thoughts and feelings and give myself the time to recognize that, it's not all about the means to the end. It's not about just getting to the place where we want in life, but the quality of how we get there is just as important. How we go about getting to that end goal is just as important as the goal itself, if not more, because how we get there sets the reputation of the man or woman we will be when we get to that destination. I don't know if that makes sense. When you do things throughout your life, your reputation will precede you. And how you behave yourself, how you talk, how you walk, how you act, how you think, how you treat people, all of this will enter a room long before you do. And that's probably more important than getting to the room itself. And going throughout this week, man, I was just sitting there thinking, I'm just down on myself. I'm saying, man, bro, you messed up. Like, how do you fix this? And the point is that it's not for me to fix. It's not for me to fix. I pray to God upstairs and I say, Lord, fix this for me and help me to be a better man. Help me to be a better father. Help me to just be better each and every single moment of the day. And maybe that's the most important, because on this journey, what we also must recognize and adhere to again and again and again is that it's not so much about not failing as it is about the redemption process. See, in this process of success or living life in general is just as important to get redeemed as it is to get to the goal, probably more important. You see, in my setback, in my downfall, and the things that I've done throughout my life, it's not important for me to always be this stand-up citizen, this guy that seems impervious to failure and impervious to vices, impervious to setbacks. That's not important. What's more important, and what I have a reciprocal responsibility to do each and every single moment of today, to my family, to my friends, and everyone that I love, to my followers, my audience, is for them to see me make a comeback. Because that's the part of all this that we don't see. We see people rise, but then it just seems like they're at this pinnacle of success or this pinnacle of life. It's like, man, I aspire to be that. And then when they fall, we get so disappointed and we write them off. Seldom do we take the time to take the perspective of love and say, you know what? Just like I was there for your rise, I'm going to be there for your fall. But there's something I need for you to do. I need for you to come back stronger. And that's what I recognize in this moment. It's not as important. Let me put this correctly. It's vastly important to apologize and ask for forgiveness and show love and vulnerability and humility and gratitude and then a shift of perspective and mindset. But it's also important for you to show and wear it on your chest with pride that redemption is possible, that people see the process of your rising again, so that they know the phoenix will rise again. Yes, at this moment in my life, I went through something crazy and tragic, but it is not as tragic as it is a metamorphosis. You know, I always thought it was funny. I was thinking this week, Charles, you wrote this book called Leaders Inspire Transformation. Be a change catalyst. And yet here you are in this circumstance and in this situation. And you're on the opposite side of the coin. The author has become the audience, but now I'm the author again. Why? Because I'm now on the other side of the coin, and what I recognize is this, that yes, leaders inspire transformation in every moment of their life, and we have to be a change catalyst in every moment of our life, in our good, in our bad, and in our ugly, because if we don't set the example for what it's like to walk in the good, to walk in joy, to walk in happiness, and then when we get to that ugly circumstance and that bad situation, what it's like to walk through it with grace and courage and bravery and humility and vulnerability and saying, you know what, I was wrong. I made mistakes. Please forgive me, and help people see that side of you as well. That's when the change happens. That's when the change happens. You know, I was having a talk with one of my homeboys, and shout out to him. He know who he is. We were in the army together, and he said, Charles, in my eyes, you're still Sergeant Johnson. You're still Sergeant Johnson. And I had to come back to myself, because, you know, I want to shrink into myself in that moment of cowardice and self-pity and self-doubt and self-hatred, and say, let me just shrink away from the world. Let me just give up everything that I've worked for. Let me just go back to a life of obscurity, of being no one, not noticed. Let me just fly below the radar, because that's what my life has come to at this point in time. When that's not the case, I have a responsibility in this moment as a man, as a leader, to show what change looks like, because that's what change catalysts do. I didn't write that book for others. It seemed as if in this moment I was writing it for me. I'm living it out day by day, moment by moment, because in this moment, in this current circumstance, in this current situation, I shall rise again, like the phoenix. I shall go from that of a caterpillar to go in my cocoon, to go through my metamorphosis and come out like a butterfly, flying to new heights. That's my responsibility, and I must showcase it to the world, because if young people, especially us young men, don't have that example, we somehow think that when we hit obstacles, when we hit mistakes, when we hit failure, when we hit rejection, doubt, depression, anxiety, separation, ostracism, that we somehow must succumb to our current circumstances. But I need to make this clear and make it be known that our current circumstances is not our forever circumstances. It is just something that we're going through temporarily to get to our end goal. And that's when it hit me like, bro, Charles, you are human. You are human. That near-death moment that you had just proves that you're human. You're not a robot. Yes, you went through a decade of military training. Yes, you went through things in life and experiences and circumstances that many people can only dream of and imagine in their minds or seen in movies. Yes, you went through all those things, but that programming does not make you who you are. It is just a part of who you are. It is not the entire, it doesn't encompass all of your humanity. It plays a part in it. The greatest gift that I can give to people in these moments is myself, and what I think and what I aspire to be, and the lessons that I've learned. And that is in success and failure. In success and failure, I have a responsibility to show people what both look like. That's what I have to do. And far too often, we sit and we idolize these people when they reach these massive pinnacles of success. And we say, you know what? I want to be like that when I grow up. But we don't realize what it took to get there. We don't see the bruises. We don't see the scars. We don't see the cuts. We don't see the battles, the journey, the frustrations, the setbacks, the failures, the backsliding that it took to get there, to gain that perspective, to get that fame, to get that notoriety. We don't know what it took to get there, because most times we hide those things beneath the surface so that people won't judge us. And I was sitting in my prayer this morning, I said, and I've been focusing and fixated on Moses. And all this time I thought Moses was great simply because God came to him in a burning bush and said, Moses, I choose you to set my people free. That's not what made Moses great. What made Moses great is that Moses was this imperfect, flawed man, and God still chose him anyway because he can do anything with any human. And that it was important for Moses in his imperfection to still show people the way. The greatest story that Moses told is not parting the Red Sea, but getting to the Red Sea to begin with. We automatically jump to Moses taking the staff and splitting the sea and freeing the Israelites, but what we don't take time to recognize is that Moses was a murderer. Moses was an orphan. Moses stuttered. And there's many men in the Bible who have portrayed this same image. Imperfect, massively flawed men who were allowed redemption. That even in the lowest moment, in our most pitiful self, we are still full of potential and purpose. And it is our responsibility to not succumb to the negative thoughts that the enemy puts in our mind and make us believe. And when we isolate ourselves and think that we have to shoulder all this by ourselves, that no, there's a God that we can reach out to. There is family that we can reach out to. There's friends that we can reach out to. And we must show humility and be vulnerable enough to say, I need help. Please help me. This bag is heavy, man. This burden is heavy. I can't carry it by myself. I don't want to stop my journey. So please, in this moment of vulnerability and weakness, can you help me? Because the purpose that was placed in your life did not stop. The meaning that was placed in your life did not stop. What you are experiencing right now is humanity. What you are experiencing right now is the realization that life is finite. This physical form that we live in will go through struggle and pain and strife and anguish, but it is not over yet. But one day, yes, it will end. We will get to that end goal, but what are we doing in the meantime? We need to continue being human in the meantime. Yes, humans fall each and every single day. And just like there's infants being born and there's people dying, there's also resurrection. There's also resurrection. Those dreams just seem dead. They're just sleep. Those ideas just seem dead. They're just sleep. But they're waiting for that jolt of life, that moment where somebody says, get up from your slumber. You still got more to accomplish. Moses, yes, you stutter. Yes, you ran away from your purpose, Moses. Yes, I placed you in a place of royalty so that when it came time to make something happen, you would be in place. But you ran away from your purpose and you ran to the desert thinking that you would get away from me. But yet here I am because I still choose you, Moses. Yes, and your flawed humanity, I still choose you, Moses. Go free my people. You still have purpose. Yes, I am a change catalyst. I recognize that now. Sitting there praying, I was like, man, this whole time, I thought I was just this transformational speaker, this motivational speaker, this keynote speaker that God had called me to preach and teach and motivate and give people that fire that they need to get up and do what they need to do. But no, I am a change catalyst, and people don't just need to learn from the good parts of my life, but they need to learn from the bad parts of my life, because change is both good and change can be bad. Or let me rephrase that. Change happens in the good and change happens in the bad, and it's important that change does not stop. Yes, it may be uncomfortable, it may be painful, it may present strife, it may present anger, it may make people rageful and vengeful, but change still happens. It's like my grandmother always taught me, and I love this saying that she said, God rest her soul. She said, truth is like rain. It don't care who it fall on. Change is like rain. It doesn't care who it falls on. And that's the story, the lesson I've learned throughout this entire process, thinking throughout this week and these situations and these circumstances that I found myself in. Yes, guess what? Guys, I'm human. I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I will crumble in moments of weakness at times. But it's in those moments where I'm counting on you all, to recognize my humanity and say, you know what, Charles, here's a hand up. We need you, brother. You the change the world is looking for. My accounting professor, Miss M, tells me that all the time, and I hate it because I don't want to be that guy. Why? Because I'd rather just be a speaker. I'd rather just be a motivator. I'd rather just be a podcaster, a YouTuber. I'd rather just be an author. Those things are easy, but being a change catalyst is not. Helping transform minds and people change mindsets is not, and especially the vulnerability of doing it from my own intimate stories. Because just like people saw me get my associate's degree, get my bachelor's degree, going for my master's, publishing a book, putting out a podcast, all these things, it's just as important for them to see those things, but also see the humanity in me, that I'm flawed just like them. But every single day I wake up and I draw breath is another phoenix rising from the ashes, life presenting itself once again, presenting me an opportunity once again to say, you know what? You made it. You made it through death. You defeated it. You being here is a testament to that. Walking around this world, interacting with the world at large is a testament to that. And I tell you the same thing. You being here right now in this moment is a testament that you have purpose, that you have meaning, that you have value. Man, I promise you from this day forward that I'm going to work on me each and every single day. But I need you to promise me one thing, that we'll walk together hand in hand and knowing that we're human. And that it's not so important to learn from other successes, but more importantly, their mistakes. Because if we learn from their mistakes, then the successes are just that more easily attainable. You don't have to go through what I go through or what I've been through if you listen to where I've been. And I say that for everybody. I'm a change catalyst. That's my calling. That's something my grandmother had put on me from the day I got kicked out of a school called Restoration Academy. Charles, I need you to be different. No, Charles, you know what? You will be different. And I know what that means now. I know what that means now. She wasn't saying that, Charles, you're going to become this great man. You're never going to make a mistake. You're going to go out here and you're going to accomplish all these amazing things and nobody's going to think less of you. That you're going to go out here and you're going to write this book and you won't succumb to the very weaknesses that are within it. No, what she meant was, Charles, you need to work day by day, recognizing that you're human, recognizing the mistakes of past family, past generations. Learn from those mistakes. And by God, if you make mistakes, learn from those, but work towards being a better man each and every single day. And that's how change happens. Because at the other end of the uncomfortable feeling of change is the person you were called to be, you were meant to be. So I tell you that same thing. This uncomfortable change phase that you are in right now, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, you will be better on the other side. But the point is, you got to get to the other side and recognize that you are human, that you're not without flaws, that you're not going to experience life without pain, without setbacks, without regret, without difficult circumstances, without barriers and obstacles and hindrances and setbacks and backsliding and rage, anger, aggression, depression, anxiety. You're not going to experience life without those things. But the point that life is a process of getting from where you are now to where you want to be. We all started our life in kindergarten. Then we became seniors in high school and was like, man, I made it. And then you start over again and become a freshman in college. And then you get to that senior year, that graduation, you say, man, I made it. And then you get your graduate degree and you start all over again. And you get to that master's graduation, you say, man, I made it. And then you go to postdoctorate school for some of us. And you become that, you start that postgraduate degree, and you get to that moment where you get that title of PhD or doctor, and you know, man, I've made it. But that's not the end. You still got to go practice. You still got to go put your best foot forward. Because life is a journey. Life is a process. Yes, you will have pain, you will have struggle, you will have strife, you will have setbacks, but it behooves you and it is a reciprocal responsibility of yours to God and the universe to say, you know what? Yes, this life is difficult, but I must make it. This is the moment in these times of struggle, in these times of grief, in this time of change and process, you beat on your chest and say, I'm him. I'm her. I will make it through this. And that's the lesson I took from my buddy when he called me on the phone. I'm expecting him to cuss me out backwards, forward, sideways to sideways. But he said, no, brother, I love you. You're still Sergeant Johnson in my mind. And it's important that people see your rise. People still look to you to lead. And here in my mind, I'm trying to shrink back into the world, get back into my cocoon and just stay there permanently. When he's still pulling me out, no, brother, it's not over yet. So I tell you that it's not over yet. You're not in a cocoon forever. That's not your permanent place. The cocoon is not a place of permanency. The cocoon is a place of change. It's a place where the phoenix rise from the ashes. It's the place where you learn the lessons of the past, where you learn the lessons of your past experiences, where you learn the lessons of your past mistakes, and you break through that cocoon, rise above, and show the world that, yes, I was down here, but now I'm up here. Yes, I thought this way, but now I think this way. Yes, I acted that way, but now I act this way. Yes, I spoke this way, but now I speak that way. Change is coming, ladies and gentlemen. Change is coming. I didn't go through that tragedy because I was doing like digging myself into a grave. And God has said, you know what, Charles, I'm tired of you, bro. No, what it was a signal of, it was a breakthrough moment, a change moment where I'm called to be better. I'm called to be better. The man I went into the tragedy with died. But the man that lived through it will change the world. That's the way we got to think about it. Humanity is going to happen to us. We're human. Welcome to the club. But what do you become on the other side of humanity? What do you become on the other side of your humanity? There's not a human alive that doesn't feel pain, doubt, self-hate, strife, anger, rage. Those are all the negative feelings, but there's this whole range of positive feelings too. Happiness, joy, peace. You got all those things waiting, but between the negative and the positive is humanity, and we got to make it through. It's a process, change, a metamorphosis, the phoenix rising through the ashes to fly once again. Hey, you all are awesome, amazing, wonderful human beings. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. Please go check out the book. It's on Amazon right now. It's called Lit, L-I-T, Be a Change Catalyst. Whole thing, Lit, Be a Change Catalyst. Help your boy out. Let's get some sales. Promote the book. Read it. Share it with your friends. Hey, man, as always, the podcast is available on all major podcasting platforms, Apple, YouTube, Google, Spotify. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Be a change catalyst, people. That's what I was called to be. That's what I call you to be as well. Don't succumb to your circumstances. They're not permanent. They're not forever. They are a wake-up call. They are a wake-up call. Not that you've been this terrible, awful person. Because you're not. You might have done terrible and awful things, but that does not make you a terrible and awful human. There's always an opportunity for redemption. There's always a chance to change your past by your future actions. And so what? People may bring up your past, so what? But let them see who you are now. Yes, you used to be a caterpillar. Now you're a butterfly. You used to rest in a pile of ashes, thought and left for dead. But now you're the phoenix, bringing life everywhere you go. Helping people to see, lighting up the night, bringing forth brand new ideas and perspectives. You got this, people. You all are awesome, amazing, and wonderful human beings. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. Please go to thecharlesjohnson.com to hear more. Have a good one.